Hey, what's up YouTube? 559 Alto Sax here, and today I'm going to be giving you a Ancient Gear deck profile. Ancient Gears are an archetype that are really they're really underused in the current meta, but I mean, I understand why, but it's still a great deck to play. I really enjoy it, and yeah, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. Alright, you guys, so to start things off, we are going to be having the Triple Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragon. This is one of your primary beat sticks in the game. It's also what you're going to target with your field spell, which we'll get into in a little bit longer with the deck profile when it progresses. But it does have a good effect as far as the gadgets go. If you tribute it with a green gadget, you get piercing damage. If you tribute it with the red gadget, um, you get to inflict 400 damage on top of your battle damage. And if it's a yellow gadget, whenever it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflicts 600 damage. So it does have the potential to just burn a little bit. It gets that piercing damage, and like with most other Ancient Gear monsters, you if it attacks, your opponent cannot activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step. So that really does help. It stops a lot of things. So moving on, we're going to be using two Ancient Gear Golem. This is pretty much your other beat stick. I mean, you're really only running five big powerful monsters, and so you really want to make sure you have them. Ancient Gear Golem's not too bad with the effect of the field spell. You can only get him out for one tribute. He does get piercing damage, and like I said, with most other Ancient Gears, you can't activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step. Next up is the Triple Ancient Gear Knight. This is pretty much your 4-star beater right here. This is pretty much the most common go-to Ancient Gear you're going to get. I mean, he is a Gemini, and of course, his Gemini effect is when he attacks, your opponent cannot activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step. So, other than that, I mean, it's a 4-star, it's an 18 beater, which is pretty nice. Now, in this deck, I'm actually not running Gemini Spark, and I know that's probably going to irk a lot of people, but I'm still testing the deck out. I mean, I've tried it a few times. It's won some, it's lost some, so I'm pretty happy with where it's at right now, and I'm still tested though. Next up, we got three Ancient Gear Soldier. This is just to bulk up the whole Ancient Gear lineup as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's not too bad. It's 1300, so it's not the beefiest in the world, but it does have that spell or traps until the end of the damage step effect, like most other, not gimmick puppets, Ancient Gears do. Now for the next double, we're going to be running two Ancient Gear Cannon. This is pretty much just a little burn. And plus, even if you tribute it, your opponent still can't activate trap cards during the battle phase of this turn. So it really does help a lot. And it's just 500, but I have been in situations where that 500 damage, it really saves you. That last little burn. So for to wrap up the Ancient Gear monsters, you have one Engineer, which is not a bad card. Negate any traps that target this card, and if you do, destroy it. It's pretty good. Um, if it attacks and it's still on the field, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it. So with the field spell, you can get it out for no tributes. One Ancient Gear Beast. If it negates the effects of any monsters that it attacks, and Gadgetron Chimera. Essentially the same thing as Gadgetron Dragon as far as getting the effects off with the different gadgets. So green gadget, it gains 300. Red, if it inflicts battle damage, you inflict 500 more. And yellow, if this card destroys an opponent's monster, inflicts 700. Next up is the basics. The gadgets got one green, one yellow, one red. I'm not a big fan of the gadgets, but they are useful when the time comes. Next up is the Gear Golem, the Moving Fortress. This is pretty good. It's not too horrible. 22 defense, that's what I really like about it. It's just a defense wall. It really helps to stall them out in case you need to get off those big plays. And, it's there if you need it. Next up, we got one Reflect Bounder. I don't know if you guys remember this from my Cyber Dragon deck profile. But before you take battle damage, if your opponent attacks you, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to your opponent's monster's attack. So you can get game before you get that damage calculation off. So it's a real good card to have. 4-star, 17 beater. Not too bad for me. Next up is one Mechanical Chaser. This is really only a 4-star, 1850 beater normal monster. I know there's a ton of other cards I can use with it. I'm actually looking probably to replace that. So if you have a suggestion, please leave it in the comment sections, and I'll definitely get back to that one. Next up, we have one Cyber Dragon. pretty much, in my opinion, a staple for really any machine deck that I want. It's a really good card. Cyber Valley, stall for a little bit of defense, and yeah, just overall a good card. Next up, we're going to move to the spells. So, next up, we're going to be running Triple Gear Town. So, this is going to be pretty much, this is what makes the deck, in my opinion. You can get out your Ancient Gear monsters for one less tribute, and when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So, preferably, it's going to be the Gadgetron Dragon. The good thing about it, if someone uses Magic Jammer on it, you can activate its effect. However, word of warning to anyone who wants to use this card, if you activate it and your opponent chains MST, this card will not get its effect off. You'll miss the timing, and you will not be able to use its effect. So just letting you guys know. Okay, next up we have the Triple Ancient Gear Castle. You get 300 attack, and each time a monster is normal summoned or set, you get a counter on it, and then you contribute this spell card along with the counters equal to the numbers of tributes. So it's pretty good. Next up we have Double Ancient Gear Workshop, just to get back any Ancient Gear monsters we lost. Pretty good card, you know, in my opinion. Next up we have the Double Ancient Gear Tank, plus 600, and when it leaves the field, your opponent takes 600. So it's a little bit of a burn, and you definitely get a power boost for those weaker Ancient Gears. Next up, we are running Triple Pot of Duality. I know a lot of people don't like running this, or at least this many, but I think draw power is definitely key in here. I mean, so I've gotten some dead draws here and there, but having Pot of Duality really does save you in the long run. Okay, next up is the Double MST, because back row is bad. One hand destruction. This is just in case I need to get rid of something my opponent has. Like if I know what deck they're playing, this can really screw up their strategy. And of course, since you have the double Ancient Gear Workshop, you can just bring back any Ancient Gear monsters you lose. Single Solidarity, just more of a boosted. This is kind of an Ancient Gear beatdown, more or less. So really pumps up the Ancient Gears, and that's really what I like. So now moving on to the traps. We have double Sakuretsu armor. Really good, just destroys them whenever they want to try to attack. One draining shield for, just regaining life points, keeping you in the game. Magic arm shield in case they try to attack your monster, you can just redirect it to one of theirs. Memory loss, great card. Don't know why more people don't use this. It's just great. It negates the effect and it puts them in defense. And for Ancient Gears with their piercing damage, that really does help. One magic cylinder. This card gets games a lot of the time, a big chunk of the time. And then one Torrential Tribute for things that I can't handle or if I'm getting swarmed, and one Mirror Force because I mean it's Mirror Force. You kind of need Mirror Force. Now, as far as the extra deck goes, I know this is gonna probably rub a few people the wrong way, but I actually don't have one for this deck. However, I am open to suggestions, so please in the comments, leave me some suggestions on what you think would be good extra deck cards for this, whether it be synchros, fusions, etc. I am looking into getting maybe that Ancient Gear, forgot what it's called, but the Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem, I believe. So I'm looking into getting that, seeing how that one works out for me. But overall, I do really like this deck. It's a fun deck to run. I mean, it's not meant to be tier 1 or anything. It's just something I put together. I really have fun with it. It's a great deck, and it's Ancient Gears. They're really fun. I like the machine archetypes. And yeah, so like I said, you guys, please leave a comment section below, and I will be more than happy to go ahead and get back to you guys on that. If you have any suggestions, comments, or concerns, I'll be more than happy to go ahead and answer those for you. Also, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. I really do appreciate any and all support I can get from you guys. You know, the Yu-Gi-Oh community, I'm really proud to be a part of. I really love swapping ideas with other duelists, and yeah, I mean, it makes the game worth playing for me. So with that being said, you guys, have a great day, and peace out.